Hello everybody and welcome back to the Bayonetta 2 walkthrough. It's time to finish off Chapter 8! And we begin by returning this kind of the cube thing we picked up to here. And it provides us with a lovely thing to jump through to give us some extra whammy to begin to break the seal around the gates of hell. Now do make sure to break that particular crystal thing, because, you know, has a broken moon pearl in it, and if you miss it, you're gonna have to replay the chapter, which is ridiculously annoying, but oh well. There's a very similar thing that happens later on. I don't know whether it's the next one or in the next chapter, but we have another instance where we are breaking the seal and there is a collectible hidden away in there that you need to get. But yeah, I'm still not a fan of this particular chapter, or the next one. There's just something about it. Just doesn't quite have the same level of excitement. And even though kind of it's certainly nowhere near as entirely rehashy as the likes of chapter 10, well, 9, 10 in the original Bayonetta, because those were completely made using reused assets, but all kind of distorted. This sort of, I mean, it probably does reuse assets, but I don't know. I guess it just sort of, it's really quiet, and even though kind of stuff's happening, it doesn't quite feel as exciting. I don't know whether it's partly down to the colour palette as well, because you've gone through kind of the game with very kind of light, bright colours going on, and now it's kind of just dark and yeah. Now I should probably bring up what this particular demon is. So, I believe that fella right there is Mixlantecuthli, or Cutli, or something or other. Ridiculously complicated way of saying it, but basically it is the presser of destruction, and it's sort of like a bat thing. Now it's named after the Aztec god of the dead, which I think I actually ended up bringing up in I think my Kingdom Hearts 2 walkthrough, actually, because I think I was talking about the Grim Reaper boss and brought him up there, but he is a demon here. And yeah, he's basically Aztec god of the dead, king of Mictlan, which is the lowest and northernmost section of the underworld, and basically worship of him sometimes involved cannibalism, with human flesh being consumed in and around the temple. The weird, I don't quite get why they've got the bat thing, because he's kind of, like, the statues are quite human-like. But, oh well. Now, I believe that the summon for Mixlantecuthli is Nakodi, but I would have to listen to it again to be 100% certain of that, because I really don't quite trust the Bayonetta wiki's kind of Enochian list, because there's one that I'm looking at and I'm pretty sure it's wrong. And also, it's not complete, which is... Okay, no, it is Cody. That's good. Now, getting that particular piece of the Angelic Hymns Gold LP, that was the one that I missed when I first played the game. Like, I did so well at getting all of the LPs, but just that sneaky little git of a bloody verse it's just hiding there behind a waterfall of the place where you need to go in. It's just like, why? Meanies. Anyway, what I wanted to bring up is, I really probably should have brought it up when we were in Noatun proper, because it's much more relevant there. But essentially, in pre-development and stuff for Bayonetta 2, Hiroki Onishi, who's the lead environmental artist, basically went with a team of artists and designers and stuff to Italy and Belgium to see the cities that fit the aesthetics of kind of waterways and rivers and all that jazz. So basically they ended up in Brussels, and I mean there's a wonderful blog post about it all, but they visited the Belgium Royal Palace, the Cathedral of Our Lady, and Venice, and the thing that they kind of got away from it was like all the lighting and trying to get sort of that design choice, and I think they've matched it beautifully. Like, they really heavily improved on the lighting effects in this game from the original. It's just quite spectacular. They also paid massive attention to kind of the roofing tiles, which I think is actually not quite what people in Japan expect it to look like. And also the pavements and the whole cobbledness of the pavements. And then sort of all the waterways and stuff it's very Venice. And I mean, there's one particular shot where it's practically just one for one taking stuff from Venice to have the design. It's just quite cool, really. And the further thing to that is that it's something you may have noticed. It's very subtle, but there's a lot of kind of slight moments of lens flare, and I think it's called anamorphic lens flare. It's basically sort of whenever you get a new thing on your combo meter, you get a nice little lens flare occurring. You get it when shifting weapons. You get it on practically everything. It's really cool, and sort of it adds a nice sort of... It makes the effect a little bit more pretty and exaggerated and noticeable, and it's just really cool. And to be honest, the effects in this game have a really nice edge to them. Like, I don't really know how to describe it. There's a wonderful blog post on kind of attack effects as well, because they wanted to try and make them look more fantastic than the original game's stuff. And I think they've most definitely succeeded in that. Now, if you're wondering what the heck I'm looking for, it's basically this. I think it's this chest. Yes, it is, because it's got a broken witch heart in it. I was just being absolutely blind. But of course we have to face off against some Fidelities, although I'm pretty sure we've already faced Fidelities in this exact same place before. Which is a little bit lazy in terms of kind of enemy battle design, but oh well. Now I believe it's around this point that I was trying to make a conscious effort to torture attack enemies, because I think almost every single enemy has a unique torture attack. I say almost, like, the acceptances have numerous torture attacks, so you've got, like, the cage where you whip them, you have the treadmill of death, and so on and so forth. But with, like, the Fidelities, they have a unique one, and the Enraptors have a unique one, and all of the demons have unique torture attacks. So, it's just really cool. Now, I believe that we've got everything, so it's time to return to the ruins, and coming over here, we get something that's not particularly important. I can't even remember what Midas' Testament does, but I know that I never use it, ever. I think it, like, increases the amount of items you can get, or something to that effect. But I have to say, in general, I don't use items in Bayonetta 2. I think the reason for that is that I got kind of mentally, I got trained out of it in Bayonetta 1, because, like, using items completely affects your score at the end. So in order to get, like, a platinum, you do not go anywhere near those lollipops. This game, in comparison, because you don't actually, you know, lose rank for using items, unless it's a item that explicitly states that you will kind of lose points and stuff for your rank. If it says it will, then it will. But using, like, the lollipops and stuff doesn't affect you. So you can be a lot more liberal with it all. But I generally try not to, just because it's a slight pain to pull them off, but also most of the time I either don't need it, or just I don't want to use it. I'm pretty sure when I kind of did another part of this walkthrough, I did start using them a hell of a lot more, because I was playing on a higher difficulty, so I needed it. But on second climax, you really shouldn't be struggling too much. And I believe that we only have 2 verses left of this chapter, and then we've got all of chapter 9, which is quite long. It's gonna, I think, get done in one part, but it's kind of a lot going on. But look, the golem's back! Yay. The key to this is keep running, don't look back, don't bother attacking. As long as you kind of get to the end and don't get hit, you'll get a pure platinum. So keep that in mind. And once you get to here, just run as far away as possible and don't run toward it. Just do not run toward it, because that's a stupid idea and it will get you hurt. If you stay by kind of the barrier, you will be fine. Now, I believe that this is a new enemy. I'm not 100% sure what it's called, but you can tell because it's not Pain exactly, because Pain kind of, you know, didn't have flames coming out of his swords, and this guy is definitely more challenging. I am indeed correct, because this is Pride, Enveloper of Flame, and unlike Pain, he doesn't get a wonderful entry into our book to be introduced to us. He's very much like Gracious and Glorious in the first game, which were much harder versions of Grace and Glory, and they were just there to kind of screw you over because you didn't realise what the hell they were. Like, you thought, oh, it's just Grace and Glory, but gold. And you were so wrong, because they just absolutely murdered you. And there's the Broken Witch Heart. Make sure you get it. It's very important. And with that, Chapter 8 is complete. Like, I understand that they had to cut it somewhere, because otherwise it would have been ridiculously long. But it does sort of feel a bit pants that essentially the whole plot just kind of stalls for 2 chapters. It's a bit But let's get on to Chapter 9, because there's some interesting stuff that actually starts to happen in it, which is great.